Yes, welcome back to Brynetic Sports. My name is Brian. It's been a while since we last had a video, of course, talking about the world of sports. And today we are back, and hopefully we are going to be a little bit more consistent in there. And of course, it's Namboole. There's been talk of CAF coming in and making an inspection and seeing that the pitch is ready or not ready for the games. And of course that happened a few weeks back, and there's been a lot of talk, especially on the local media, on social media platforms, and we've also seen a lot that has been happening in Parliament, especially about the issues. First of all, let me throw light on exactly what really transpired. Government called in CAF, especially to do with Namboole, to see the progress of the stadium and see the works that have been done by the UPDF engineering brigade, to see the extent of that is the quality of the work. And of course, after the report was submitted in there, it confirmed that we could not host games, especially the qualifiers for the African Cup of Nations as well as the World Cup qualifiers. And it was something that kind of like, it was a sickening, message, especially to the people that have been waiting to see that this stadium is ready. The amount of money that has been spent, over 97 billion Ugandan shillings, it was something that no one could take. And of course, there was a study that was done. Parliament came in, and a lot has transpired ever since then. One of the issues that Mr. Peter Wang had registered, especially in Parliament, as the reason why the stadium was not ready was about the monies that were not completed, especially the 17 billion that was supposed to be completed as the balance. And as we talk right now, the money was submitted into the accounts of Namboole Stadium, and of course the processes of everything that was supposed to be bought, especially of course the questions were to do with the athletics track, the digital scoreboard. There was something to do with the PA system, the VIP lounges, the media tribunal, the lighting system, the labeling of the different sections of the pitch, especially where the OB vans are going to be, the different sections of the field. Of course, you need signage showing exactly what is happening where. And there was also, of course, the parking system, where we had the buses that were supposed to be removed from the parking system, the Pioneer buses. And as we talk right now, let me give you the good news for Ugandans that are really waiting to see something happen at Namboole Stadium. The buses have been removed from the parking lot. Of course, the process has been a little bit more slow. There was talk about how much money they were demanding government and how much money government was demanding them. But there was a negotiation and, of course, a settlement reached. So the bus issue is not a problem anymore. The lighting system is already installed, and there's been videos taking rounds on social media showing exactly this. So that is also a confirmation that already there are steps that are, in fact, they've taken big steps, especially to make the stadium ready, considering the amount of time since the money was released. The PA system as well, it is also being worked on, and a lot of the other thing. The track itself, because it was very impossible for the turf to be used when the track still had that hardcore and all that surface around it. They don't allow, according to CAF standards or international game standards, for a player to get from the pitch and directly go to a hard surface. There might be issues to do with injuries and all those things. So you need something lighter, something softer, and we expect the track to be ready anytime soon now. So when you look at the pictures that have been forwarded and you see the works that have been done, there's something very, very so much appetizing. There's something very interesting. There's hope that this is going to be better, and we expect the stadium to be ready even in the time that we expected it to be, because the speaker gave it something like 2 weeks for them to really complete the works. Of course, they didn't confirm the 2 weeks, but from the way we are seeing things, they might be ready in 2 weeks' time. And of course, there's been a lot of questions. One of the few questions that came in was when such projects are done, do they really inquire from the football running body FUFA. In one of the speeches that was done by Mr. Magogo in Parliament, he acknowledged one of the few problems that they faced, especially in this projects. One of the projects that I've been talking about very many times there is the Akii-Bua Stadium. Akii-Bua is not going to be ready for the African Cup of Nations because of its surface. One of the few things. And other things that did not work in the regulations as anticipated by CAF. And of course, Mr. Magogo attributed that to government as well as the sports ministry and also the private investors not working hands in hands with FUFA as the people that are supposed to guide in such projects, because they have everything that is certified for any stadium to be operating, especially on the CAF level or the international level. So if you don't follow what the guidance they have, especially given them to by CAF, then you will not have your stadium ready. And that is why National Stadium is not going to be ready unless the things that are supposed to be worked on, just like the pitch itself, the surface itself, they don't allow artificial turf to really run those tournaments, especially on the CAF level. The only turf that can be included, and then you'll have 100% assurance that the games will be played, is the hybrid grass, because it's a mixture of grass as well as the turf itself. So that is also acceptable, because I told you about stadiums like the Emirates Stadium, like the Etihad Stadium, Old Trafford, all having hybrid pitch, the same that we are having all the way in Rwanda in the Amahoro Stadium. So that is why Mr. Magogo came in and asked for all the stakeholders, if something is supposed to be done, then they need to work hands in hand with FUFA as the lead guiding body in the projects that are supposed to be on that level. So of course, the government came in through Mr. Peter Gwang, and he acknowledged that they've been involved with FUFA so many times and they've not worked on this stadium without, of course, seeking their guidance. But of course, you can tell the small areas that we have, for example, the media tribunal, where it's supposed to be and how it's supposed to be set up. Of course, now, though UPDF acknowledged that it was not something that is going to be costly in any way, they're not going to be including more funds to reset it, to set the media rooms and all that stuff, because it's just a matter of exchanging them from one area to another and breaking a few walls to make it that is better as well. So there are a lot of things that you see were small mistakes, and when I did a video and talked about Uganda not being ready, it's not about the infrastructure itself, it's about the will, especially of the people that are running this game. The government itself being one of the few people that are running the game itself. I'll give you an example. One of the few issues that we had was the issue about the releasing of the funds. It took so long for government to release the funds. It just took the pressure from Parliament, which had passed already the monies, to come in and force them to release the money. And it was submitted on the floor of Parliament on Friday, and by Monday, that electronic transfer was already done. So what happened between those few days that was not happening in the previous months, 3 or 4 months, that the deadlines were not meted? So there's something wrong with our government, especially with commitment, especially to such projects. And they need to acknowledge that sports is one of the few things that can generate money as other disciplines. Because I'll give you an example. The gate collection is one of the things that is going to be, providing government with a lot of money. There is also tourism, because now you have, I'll give you an example. Rugby is one of the other games that is going to be hosting a African kind of level game, because you have there's going to be a tournament here in 2014-2015, the Africa Rugby Cup. So you expect people to come in, you expect a lot of nations to come in. It's going to be a source of tourism when you look at that. So you need government to be part of this, because we expect them to gain a lot, especially when people come in. Then on the other side of the other stadiums that are not constructed yet, as well as the other training facilities, I got to know that the feasibility studies are being done, especially the topology studies were done by the contractors that were given for example, the Qatar Sports, as well as Comco, the other company that was given, from Egypt, those two companies, as well as the company that was given the Hoima Stadium, that is Suma. The studies were done. For Suma's case, not Inyamoses Magogo, but Peter Ogwang, the State Minister for Sports, came in and confirmed that there are still negotiations with government of how things are going to be done, and already they've already confirmed that work will be starting soon. But the problem was they need to set things right, and contracts need to be signed, because when SUMA starts, they work day and night. We've seen it in Rwanda, so they don't want to stop for any reason. So you expect them to be a little bit more consistent, and the guidelines, of course, of what time frame they are going to be constructing the stadium, you expect them to be meeting it. So that is why they need to make everything well. They need to organize everything the way it's supposed to be organized, so that when they start working, they don't stop. So for all the people that are a little bit scared that the stadium might not be constructed, it's going to be constructed. In fact, Mr. Peter Wang confirmed that both Akii-Bua and Hoima, they've given them some special kind of treatment in case the funds are slowed down, because there was a question of, because Parliament is the one that slowed down Namboole process, would it slow the other two projects, because it's going to be the source of funding the government itself. So they came out, and of course, Mr. Ogwang confirmed that government has given them that authority. In case they need to borrow money for such projects, they will borrow them, but they are number one on the list, especially in the budgets that are going to be released. So that gives us a little bit of the assurance, and we expect it to be done. The president knows it very well, and of course, the Ministry of Finance is expected to be releasing the monies that are supposed to be used for constructing the stadiums. When you look at on the other side of the training facilities, because that is also another question, you expected to have over, I don't know, because each stadium must have over 3 training centers around the country. In Kampala here, places that were selected already confirmed that they are going to look at the study, of course, of the prices on the designs and all that stuff. That is all, in fact, it's all being done, and you expect soon for the budgets to be released as well as the designs to be released. That is the same to the stadium. The reason why you're not seeing the designs, designs work with the area that you're going to be living in. For example, if they're going to be constructing a stadium in Hoima, they need to look at the area, the wind system, and all that stuff. Then they construct a stadium that meets the standards of the area, because now you might do something that will be in 1 month taken down by rains or taken down by the winds in that area. So they need to look at the area, study everything, and then make something conclusive. So to me, I believe the government is doing their job, but of course, slow progress. This is the first time we are hosting such a big, kind of tournament of the magnitude of the amount of monies that are supposed to be input into that project. So we need to learn as we go on the job. Of course, it was another thing that I appreciated, especially the government giving UPDF the role to play in Namboole, because we always talk about why don't they give it to an experienced person. That is why they came in and gave the 2 stadiums to 2 companies that are experienced and they've done the job elsewhere. But people were asking, why didn't they give Namboole to another better contractor? The reason was it was a renovation, and they wanted UPDF to gain the experience, because when we talk about experience is earned when you do the job. So you cannot say, UPDF don't have the experience if you don't give them the job. So that is why you're seeing that they decided. In fact, that is one of the reasons why, one of the reasons that Mr. Peter Wang gave as a reason why they gave UPDF to construct the stadium. So to me, I would agree with that, and I would say that that is the way to go. We need to just give ourselves a little bit more time. It is a learning process. It's going to be a little bit tough from the start, but we will get there. And I believe that government has a lot of commitment, especially with the way things are happening with Namboole here. It's just a week and you're seeing things developing the way they're supposed to be developing in the world of football. And then, of course, and the other thing that I really liked about what the government is doing, especially through Mr. Peter Wang, what he came out on the floor of Parliament and he talked about was on all these projects that we are going to be seeing, we are going to see, having the local staff, 80% of the local staff, especially on all these projects, and they want UPDF to have their employees part of that, that kind of setup, the staff that are going to be operational in all the stadiums, especially in the construction. To me, it's capacity building, and you can only do that, especially, when you work with experienced people. They will learn so much. The engineers will get a little bit it better. And of course, the physical staff will know how things are done, especially when you work with a company that has a reputation. The reason why I expect these stadiums to be completed in the time that is expected to be done, because these companies know how to work with governments. And of course, these contracts always, you always give yourself room for you not to make an error, or, not to sign in for something that will lead you to make compensations, especially if you don't fulfill the job. So they know how to play around with governments, and of course, they know the challenges will be there financially. That is why you see for the Akii-Bua Stadium, they talked about pre-financing, whereby the company gets the finances, it starts the project, then the government comes in and pay. They need to really have assurances that the government will pay, and of course, they need to understand how it will be done, in what terms, in what in what bits will it be paid. Is it going to be a half? Is it going to be the full sum after the completion of the project on handover? Then, of course, for SUMA, we expect the government to fund the project from the start to the end. We don't know how the monies will be coming in, but of course, those details will be told to us as soon as the project kicks off. But as you see the way we are working, of course, it's a little bit slow, but you expect that to happen to a country like Uganda. We are not exposed to the level. You will look at our neighbors, the likes of Tanzania and Kenya. People have been talking about how we are very slow compared to them. But themselves as well, they are not 100% better. Of course, the two stadiums that are supposed to be constructed, the Arusha Stadium, the 30,000 seater, already works have already begun. In fact, last week the works began. Yes, that to me looks like great progress. For Kenya, the Talanta Sports City Stadium, works are already on. You would expect, of course, people to come out and say, why are their works on and ours are not on? But different governments and, of course, different ways of doing things and priorities, of course, also differ in such countries. But all I'm looking at is we all have one goal: to have this stadium as well as this tournament happen in East Africa, and we expect the tournament to happen in Africa. I think the worry was with the qualifiers, because Uganda was supposed to be playing qualifiers. Still, it might play these qualifiers from outside the country. But of course, according to Mingia Moses Magogo, he talked about how CAF has the executive committee that has the powers to reverse a decision, especially if a decision is done like you're not hosting there, because at their time of inspection, if you don't fulfill their qualities, for them, what they do, they will pass on to the next person. And of course, we've been having issues with where we're supposed to be hosting the game, so they can reverse the decision if you give them the guarantee, because now the games are not going to be played today or tomorrow. But of course, they cannot commit to something they don't know will happen. So you need to give them a reason for them to say, of course, yes, Uganda has. When you look at their progress, they have done something. So by the time the game is going to be there, I think this will be ready. And that has to be documented evidence to show that you're ready, and they will not really make a decision that will hurt them or hurt the teams that you're going to be hosting. You remember, these teams have to prepare in time. They need to know where they're going to be staying. They need to know what they're going to be using and all that stuff. So they need to prepare in time. So if you don't give them information in time, then it might be a problem. But I believe Uganda will be ready, especially for those tournaments, and it's going to be a joy to see the Uganda Cranes, going all the way and hosting their games back to our home stadium. And of course, with the way things are looking, it looks like an exceptional stadium. I looked at it, with the lights on and all that stuff, and I really saw a beauty. And I believe that from that, we will be building success, especially with the games to come. Thank you so much for being part of this. And of course, we are expecting more of the updates from the local scene as well as the international scene. We will be giving you that, especially here on Brynetic Sports. Thank you so much for being part of the show. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye.